Hey everybody, this is GGB Coles Puppers, and I get to finally talk about my Houston Texans. I'm in love with my Houston Texans, but let's go to some winners of the day. Let's start off with two quarterbacks who I am absolutely in love with, and it's going to be Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Love. Now, Tyrod Taylor is a player I've been in love with for a long time. Honestly, I was in love with him when he was a Buffalo Bill, and then he went to Cleveland. I'm like, oh, he's a pretty good quarterback. Maybe he'll do well in Cleveland. And then, man... Unfortunately for him, he got hurt, and then Baker Mayfield took over. And then, fortunately, he went to Los Angeles, and he got stabbed in the lung, and Justin Herbert took over. Tyrod Taylor has had the worst luck in the NFL, as far as I understand it, but Tyrod Taylor has always been a solid, reliable quarterback, and he kind of showed that in his first drive. Again, he only played one drive, but honestly, I wouldn't feel horrible if Tyrod Taylor was leading the Texans' offense week one. Tyrod Taylor is a very solid QB in the NFL. He went 4 of 4, 40 yards. He was perfect on that. Again, a QB rating of 108.3. But I want to really move over to this next player because he played a little bit more time, and I had a lot of time to see this person, and I think he's very good, and that's Jordan Love. I really like Jordan Love. Now, I understand he is still a year out from starting at the very least, but Jordan Love he's one of my favorites. I'm sorry to say he is one of my favorites on this roster right now. I'm looking forward to seeing Aaron Rodgers leave Green Bay. I understand that's a weird thing to say, and I think Aaron Rodgers has a chance to make a run with the Packers this year, but I think they have a very solid future in the NFL with Jordan Love. He looked talented. He had great poise in the pocket. He went 12 of 17, 122 yards, threw a touchdown pass. I mean, I don't know what else you could expect from this man in his first preseason game. I think he looked really good. I'm really proud of this kid. Other winners, in my opinion. Let's go down the list here. I think the winner in the rushing game is Scottie Phillips. If you don't know who Scottie Phillips is, he was an undrafted player out of Ole Miss last year. His second season in the NFL. He's 23 years old, so still a young player. And honestly, Scottie Phillips, he was fighting an uphill battle to make this roster. And I think most people understood that. Again, still on the official depth chart, you got Phillip Lindsay as the 1 running back, Mark Ingram as the number 2 running back, David Johnson is the number 3, Rex Burkhead is the number 4. I mean, he's going to have to play extremely well in the preseason to knock out one of those 4 veterans. Because, I mean, all 4 veterans have had very solid NFL careers. Now, I think Phillip Lindsay is just at the start of his NFL career. But everyone else, Mark Ingram, David Johnson, Rex Burkhead, all have some very good things to point to in their NFL careers. I really liked all those players. But honestly, Scottie Phillips looked great. He really looked solid in this game. And he's trying to make a play for the roster, and he might make it, honestly. He had 13 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown. Not to mention he caught 4 passes for 23 yards. He looked really good. He really did. Now I'd like to talk to about another player. I know. So, I'm not going to mention Kylan Hill. I love Kylan Hill, but I don't think he won this game. He did not look good in the rushing game. Again, 5 rushes for negative 2 yards. Not a good day running the game for Kylan Hill. He had a good day receiving, but only caught 1 pass. So, never mind. I'm not going to talk about Kylan Hill, but I will put as a winner in this game Devin Funchess. Devin Funchess, again, was a player that didn't get to play much last year, but he was one of the big free agent signings. If you can go back a couple of years, he really was. He was a player that a lot of people were excited about coming out of Carolina. And right now on the depth chart, he's a little bit buried. I think everyone understands Devontae Adams, the number 1 receiver there, and Marcus Valdes-Scantling and Alan Lazard both have, in my opinion, they've done enough to give them the benefit of the doubt. They should be the number 2 and number 3 receivers there. But Devin Funchess, if he keeps playing like he is playing now, he will end up starting. I'm saying it. Randall Cobb we didn't get to see today, and Amari Rodgers didn't shine, but I think Devin Funchess looked really good. He had 6 catches, 70 yards. He led the team in receptions, and he led the teams in yards. He averaged 11.7 carries. 11.7 yards per catch. He had a long of 18 yards, and he had 8 targets in this game. That he didn't catch a touchdown pass. The only touchdown pass went to Kylan Hill on the screen pass. But he looked solid. I really think he looked good. Now I'm going to go to the other side of things, and Chris Conley. Chris freaking Conley. Chris Conley has been on so many NFL teams. Honestly, Chris Conley has been everywhere in this NFL. And honestly, I thought I didn't even remember him I didn't know he was on the Texans, really. I mean, I'm a Texans fan, and I really didn't even remember he was on this team until this game. Never mind. He's only been on 3 teams. He was with the Chiefs for a long time. I remember that. I remember thinking that Chris Conley was a good receiver. Then he went to Jacksonville. He kind of fell off my radar. Now he's back in Houston, and he looked really good in this game. He caught 4 passes for 51 yards. He tied Scottie Phillips for the most catches in the game, and he had the most yardage in this game. He averaged 12.8 yards per carry. He had a long of 17 yards, and he had 4 targets. So that means he caught every pass that was near him, unlike everyone else, except for, like, Nico Collins, who only caught 1 pass. So, I mean, and Paul Quessenberry, the fullback. So, I mean, like, it's not really quite a fair comparison. Chris Conley was amazing in this game, and I don't know how you wouldn't have him as one of the winners of the game. And I gotta say, winner in my opinion. I'm gonna go defense here. I'm gonna do one more defense before I go some losers of the game. It's oh dang it, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but I gotta say, Camus Grugier-Hill. I understand his stat sheet wasn't amazing, but he had 2 total tackles, 2 solo tackles, and 2 tackles for loss. He had 1 QB hit. Now, I understand that's not amazing stats, but if you go back and watch that game, or if you watch the highlights, that guy was everywhere on the football field. He was making play after play after play. I think Camus Grugier-Hill is either a very good depth player behind Christian Kirksey, or he can start. Honestly, Zach Cunningham, Christian Kirksey, Kevin Pierre-Louis. Zach Cunningham, again, 2017 second-round pick out of Vanderbilt. I mean, he's been a pretty solid linebacker. Christian Kirksey, again, he's been a solid linebacker throughout his career, again, since 2014 from Cleveland. But he's been a solid linebacker throughout his career. Kevin Pierre-Louis kind of had a breakout year last year. Again, he's an older player, already 29, so again, getting up there in age. But Camus Grugier-Hill, he was everywhere on this football field. Kevin Pierre-Louis had a breakout year with the Redskins last year, if you didn't know. But I think, honestly, he could vie. He could vie for a starting gig. Now, I understand he's a little bit older. He's 27, and he's not as old as, again, Christian Kirksey and Kevin Pierre-Louis, but I mean, I think this guy could be a really, really good player for the Texans if they let him play. And honestly, I think he was a little bit overshined in Miami because they already had some pretty good linebackers there. I think he's going to have a chance to be amazing here in Houston. He really looked good in this preseason game. And then I'm going to talk about the losers of the night. Let's go some loser time. And the number one loser, I just gotta say, it's Jeff Driscoll, right? I think everyone was thinking it. Jeff Driscoll was gonna have to fight an upwards battle to make this roster anyways, right? I feel like most reasonable people don't think that Deshaun Watson is going to get traded anytime soon. I think there's just something going on with him in the organization. But you know what helps? You know what helps when when a player is upset because they're not winning? Winning helps. So if they start winning, you know he's going to be fine in Houston. He's just going to be. He's going to be happy in Houston, especially if Cutley can turn around the culture down in Houston. But Jeff Driscoll is always going to have to fight an upward battle because let's assume Deshaun Watson's on the roster. Even if he's not, you still got Tyrod Taylor, who's a very capable quarterback, and you have Davis Mills, who you drafted. You were going to have to make your best chance scenario if you're Jeff Driscoll is Deshaun Watson's gone, right? And you're vying for a third-string spot. Jeff Driscoll did nothing to help his case when he went 1 of 6, threw for 2 yards, and he had a quarterback rate of 39.6. Again, did not help his case at all tonight. Looked really bad. Just stating the obvious here. Sorry, bud. And then I'm going to go with another loser. It's just got to be Isaiah Coulter. Isaiah Coulter, if you do not remember, was a 5th-round pick from Houston last year out of Rhode Island. Everyone knew he was going to be kind of a developmental player. But right now on our roster, the Texans roster, you got probably Brandon Cooks as the 1 receiver, Chris Conley as the 2. Now, then it probably goes Kiki Kuti, Anthony Miller. That's already 4 receivers. Nico Collins is like a lock. And then, so after that, you got to fight to make the 6th receiver spot if you're Isaiah Coulter, and right now you're not even listed on the depth chart. You're behind Alex Erickson, Chris Moore, Andre Roberts, Tywan Taylor, and Jordan Vesey. So obviously not going well for Isaiah Coulter, considering he was a 5th-round pick last year. I don't know if he's going to make the roster. But everybody, this is GGB. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. This is GGB and Coach Pepper saying adios, amigos.